Hey y'all, welcome to Katiana's Corner. I'm your host, Katiana, and I am so excited that you're here with us today. Whether you're here for guidance, encouragement, a little piece of advice, or some laughs, I'm so glad that you tuned in because here you always have someone in your corner. And in our corner today is such a special guest. She is amazing. Honestly, we talked about this earlier. We are honestly twins. It's crazy the amount of things that we have been through that are very similar. And it's funny that just God has intersected our paths. And I'm so excited that she is here to talk about her life and her journey. And I hope it blesses y'all. So let's give it up for our guest today, Miss Kennedy.
Hello.
Beautiful.
So excited to be here.
I'm so
Thank you for having me.
excited to have you here and just have such a fun conversation. There is so much I could honestly talk to you about. We could be here for hours.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be so good.
Yes.
It's going to be so good. First of all, guys, I'm just going to brag on her. I have so many notes about Kennedy. If you did not know, she is an Emmy Award-winning news reporter. Like, that's insane.
Thank you.
You're so humble about it. Like, thank you. No, that's crazy.
Lots of stories from that one.
So crazy. We'll get into that.
Yes.
But I just had to say that because she'll be really humble about herself. But I will brag about her because she is amazing in every single way. And you're newlywed.
Yes, I am.
I mean, so am I.
Right. We both
So
are.
am I. Yes. But I mean, we could talk about wedding stuff and
Yes.
all the different things as well. She's a big advocate for mental health as well. And I am as well. That is my cause, my booze for Cowboys. And I would love to dive a little deeper in that
For
a little
sure.
later on as well. But there's just so much that's going to happen in this episode that we're going to talk about. So let's get right into it.
Yes, I'm an open book, so let's do it.
The first thing I need to know, your husband's a runner.
We just got back from Los Angeles, too. He ran his first marathon.
How'd it go?
It went
Good.
well. He
Good.
killed it. And
Awesome.
like race day is so just exciting, just the running community.
Isn't it fun?
Yes. And I hadn't really been in that environment. Like, I've never missed a race. I've been to his half marathons and all of that. But, like, it was such a cool experience.
Yeah, I love the race community. Now, I'll never do it myself.
Right. I could not.
I just could not, would not, should not. But I love seeing like all the signs. And honestly, it's such an amazing thing to see everyone gathered together and just cheering on people that they don't know. I'm like, I
Right.
love this. It's so much fun. Did
And
you
to just see your partner like chase after something
Yeah.
like they've been working on
Mhm.
for so long, and that's not my strength, but it's his strength, and he brings out things in me that it just all combines, and it's just nice.
Yeah, I love that. It's so cute. A little cheerleader for
Yes, I
him.
try. I try.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, so since my husband runs as well, does he make you try to run all the time with him?
So we talked about this early on.
Uh-huh.
I set a goal that I would run one 5K, and I did in Columbus. He ran the half marathon. I did the 5K.
Yeah. Oh,
It
he
was a
didn't run the
struggle.
5K with
No,
you.
he ran the half marathon, and it was a struggle, but I did it. I every now and then will run like a mile with him, but it's really not my thing. Like we're in the gym together, and that's like our space, and we love it. But
That's your sacred space.
he knows that's his space. So
Have you ever heard of this runner's high that they talk
Yeah.
about?
of course,
Have you ever felt that?
No,
Okay,
I
glad.
don't
I'm glad.
have that for myself. But
Yeah.
I love that for him.
For me, yes, I say the same thing. I'm like, I love that for you, sweetie. You keep on doing you. But
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
See, we get it. We
Sure,
get it.
we
can
do.
hold the signs for them.
Thank you. Yes. Did you see any funny signs while you were out there?
Oh, there were so many. I'm trying to think of any that come to my mind, but they were just so many.
They're funny.
Yeah.
Really, really funny. There was one, what did it say? It was like, you guys are over here running a marathon. I'd rather take Ozempic or something like that.
Okay, I did see a sign like that. I saw one that was like, my grandma's faster than you, and I think that gets people going. growing.
Yeah,
a little bit.
because that or the little power ups.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the kids? They'll have the
Yeah.
little mushrooms.
Yeah, I have seen that.
So cute, so cute. I'm like, maybe I'll just do it for that
Right.
sense. Just run, hit the power up, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
but I love it. I love the running community and I just love being a part of it. And that's kind of what this platform's about too, is just
Yeah.
like a place where you can gather and just like share community with one another. It doesn't matter where you're from. We all start from different points
For sure.
in life, but you can all come together for one specific thing. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
what it's
love
all
it.
about.
I love it. I love it so much. So I just kind of want to dive right into
Let's do
you
it.
and
Let's do
who
it.
you are, specifically just your career.
Yeah.
You have had multiple careers
I
already.
have. Had a little pivot season in
Yes. And I want to kind of talk about your pivoting
there.
season and
Yeah.
kind of what you've learned throughout it.
Right.
So can you just share a little bit about where you started and where you are now?
Yeah, so going into college, so I went to Baylor, wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to pursue, but I knew I loved to write. I knew I loved to storytell in a sense. And so day one of freshman year, got a job as a sports reporter for Baylor
Day
Athletics.
one.
So
Wow.
that summer before, had been invited to do like a mock audition, gave it a shot, was trying out the interviewing coaches and athletes, and started my freshman year, got a call saying you got the job. And so that like sparked just like a passion and interest in mine of like, let's try something new. And so freshman year looked a lot different than most, but I was just learning the ropes of what that industry was like and covering basketball and football and just all the things. And went on to sophomore year and wanted to kind of see what the news world was like, because I knew I would have always wondered what it was like if I hadn't tried it. And so got plugged in as an intern and then a news reporter and then a news anchor for my campus's broadcast program. And by the time I was a senior, was the executive producer of the program, which came full circle. And so decided, okay, this is something that I want to pursue after graduation. And I knew that just from mentors and different people who were cheering me on, I knew that I might have to go somewhere unfamiliar. And my first market might not be Dallas, which is my hometown. And that was not the case. So I went to Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, wow.
I'd never been to Oregon. I didn't know a soul in Oregon, but I knew that it was time to really stretch myself. And this was January 2020. So
bad times.
Graduated in December. Moved my whole life thousands of miles away to an unfamiliar place, but was just ready and eager and just got plugged in right away. But as we all know, 2 months later, life changed for everybody real fast.
Yeah.
And so that was the time where I knew, okay, I had to step up and know what it's like to be a journalist. And so I was in a 2-year contract in Oregon. And for the 2 years, it was the pandemic, covered my first presidential election, protests, unrest, the Black Lives Matter movement, and also wildfires and severe weather. And that's where I won my first Emmy Award.
I saw that.
Wildfires that destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres. And that's when I really understood what it meant to like be a voice for your community. And I just have a huge passion for storytelling and was able to just speak to so many people who were at their lowest. But also at the same time trying to be that strong voice. And so was there for 2 years, learning, growing, but it was different. I wasn't able to get plugged into a church or really find my group of friends because it was the pandemic and I was still out there doing my job. And so soaked all of that up and decided, okay, I want to see what else is out there. So the contract ended, got a job offer in Jacksonville, Florida. Moved from Oregon
Dallas, Oregon, Florida.
Yes, and started a news reporter role in Jacksonville. This was the beginning of 2023. Yeah, 2023 or 2022. And so, yes, decided, okay, wanted to continue pursuing that. Covered a lot of breaking news. So was covering everything you can imagine under the sun, from violent crimes to just tragedy and death and destruction. And it was a lot.
I bet on your mind, right?
Yeah, on my mind especially. And just I would get to work at 3 a.m, most times getting off at 3 p.m. and just had nothing to give after work.
Exhausting.
Like there was the adrenaline of like chasing the breaking news and the stories, and was able to tell so many stories. But there came a point where I didn't really recognize myself. Like I was out here, being this voice for the community. I loved what I was doing, but the toll that it was taking on my mind was something I had to really pause and evaluate, like, what do I want for my life long term, not just in the immediate. And I had been working so hard at this since 2016, starting college, but I realized that you have to protect your mental health, you have to protect your peace, and you can't worry what others think. I think that was why it was so hard for me to even think about pivoting to something else, because my life was Kennedy the news reporter. I mean, everywhere I went, the grocery store, the mall, it was Kennedy, like, we love you, we love your stories. Like, could not go anywhere without people just saying stuff like that. And I wanted to be that strong voice, but was also having to take care of myself and how I felt when I got off my shift. And so I think that's where just the awareness part of mental health was something that I had to really recognize for myself. And I did end up putting in my 2 weeks, and it was a decision that was super difficult, just because I had friends and family and viewers who just saw me as the reporter, Kennedy. It was hard to think of my life anything else. But the biggest weight was lifted off my shoulders when I said, I'm going to give this to God, and did not have a job lined up, but I knew that something else greater was out there. And I just had to trust that. So,
which is really hard to do. Like, there's so much to unpack from everything that you just said, because I think it's very important for people to know that once you go from something that you're like labeled as. So for me, for instance, like DCC is always going to be attached to me now, but I don't want it to become my main identity, And sometimes I think when you do something that you love for such a long time, it does become a part of your identity. And you believe, like, without it, who are you? And that's where it gets a little scary, is like, you can't have it be attached too much to your identity, or it becomes your identity.
Because you're so much more than your job title. Because when that goes away, you have to realize, who am I? And you have to answer that question for yourself.
When you go back home, it's like, okay, God, I'm not a news reporter anymore. I'm not what am I doing, Jesus? But that's just so good. And how did you know that God was kind of showing you, like, hey, like, what were the signs that he said, we might need to slow down and pivot over here?
Yeah, such a great question. I think for sure when I realized, okay, it's time to find a therapist. Like, I knew that, okay, I can continue doing this job, but was in therapy. And even then, just asking those questions, getting real with myself and a trusted individual, I knew that the issue, in a sense, or the common denominator was, I need to remove myself from this. And who knows what years from now, if I ever would want to come back, but I knew that it was time. I just knew it was time, when I was like, I don't even feel like myself. I was in the middle of, like, getting to know my now husband. I met him in Jacksonville and didn't even have much to give in that early on, because I was just so drained and so exhausted, and was anxious to go to work, not knowing what I would be doing or where I would be going. My skin was having issues from just the stress. And so I think especially the health issues, to answer your question, the health issues especially, was when I had to really take a step back and say, okay, God, I know there's somehow I can use my gifts and talents. And I trusted that. And little did I know, he would provide.
That's awesome. And your body does tell you when something's up. We don't care to listen most of the time. We're like, it's normal, it's fine, everything's gonna be okay. It's just a season. I love hearing that. It's just a season, it's gonna be good. But I totally know the feeling that you're talking about, of just feeling like you have nothing else to give and you're so drained. I went through a season like that, and I called it like putting on a mask. I was like, okay, which mask of Katiana do I have to put on today? And I don't know if that's kind of how you felt, of like, just keep on putting on different masks, and you're like, what Kennedy do you want?
Just putting on a brave face, because I was telling important news to a community who was relying on me. But it was hard to pretend after some time. And you have a professional life, but you also have a personal life, and you have to fill both of those cups for sure.
Well, for sure. And I love what you said about protecting your peace.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's something you truly have to learn. And usually it's going through something
yeah.
to learn that you do have to protect your peace, protect your peace, protect your heart. What is that to you? What does protecting your peace look like for you?
Yeah, I think, I mean, being able to like witness it firsthand, because that was the first time I had ever experienced any
Mhm.
type of like anxiety or just feelings that weren't just peace and I'm great and I'm at college and these different seasons. So I think for me, protecting my peace is like knowing that your hearts and your
Yeah.
life matters more than any job title or any
Mhm.
organization or any outside factor. Like I always tell people, you have to wake up and go to that job, or you have to wake
Mhm.
up and be in that organization. So I knew for myself that like God has a big, beautiful life
Yeah.
out there for me. And this is a decision that I can make to reach that. But I think for me, I just had to realize like I want peace and I wasn't
Mhm.
feeling peace. So let's take some action steps to get there, even
Yeah.
though it was so difficult. Because again, my identity was, but I'm a news reporter.
Yeah.
Like people know me, like
Yeah.
people recognize me. And so I think peace for me was just putting that aside and
Mhm.
saying, let's get back to Kennedy, the human,
Mhm.
and just knowing that that matters more than any title out
Yeah.
there.
That's so important too. It's when you do that, it almost feels as if you're doing the right thing, but sometimes it almost feels like you're doing the wrong thing.
Right.
Because I feel like multiple things happen after that.
Yeah,
Because that's when the enemy attacks even
for
harder.
sure.
It's one of those things. It's like, okay, God, like I'm gonna do this, and then another thing happens, and then another thing's happening, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought you said you wanted me to do this. Was I
Right.
not right?
And it's all part of the process.
Yes,
Like
the
it's all part
process.
of it.
And yeah, I just love that. I love that. And I know you kind of talked about how you went through that
Yeah.
while you met your now
Yes.
husband.
Yes.
That's hard because relationships are hard, period.
For sure.
Getting to know someone is hard, period.
Yeah.
So for you to be going through
Mm.
this and putting on a mask per se, what was that like to kind of just transitioning into a relationship, but also
For
going
sure.
through this hard time? What was that like?
Yeah. So when we met at a game night through church.
Love it.
Walked right up to him and I was like, "Hi, I'm Kennedy." Just like
Bold.
I talked to a lot of people, and instantly we just clicked. Like we talked that night and every night since. And there was just such a peace I felt when I was with him. But as you start thinking about, okay, could this turn into a relationship? I
Mhm.
had to look at myself and realize I don't even feel whole
Yeah, wow.
in my mind, in my peace. Like, and I wanted so badly to be able to give him 100%
Mhm.
of me and my time and my mental health and all of that. But I just wasn't at that place. And
Yeah.
he waited for me to reach that point and walked with me
Yeah.
through that. And so we took time to get to know each other. And then when the time was right, that turned into a relationship. And he has just never left my side, just walking with me through physical healing and mental healing. And, he met me when I was a reporter,
Yeah.
but that didn't even matter to him. Like he wanted me for my heart and
Yeah.
not my job. And it kind of took me back because I was like,
Who are
do
you?
you know that I'm leaving news? Like
Yeah.
it took me some time to really realize that like this is what's
Yeah.
meant to be. So it was a difficult decision, but
Yeah.
something that I had to just realize that this is all part of the journey. And now looking back, I know this is my person because he was just there and never left my side.
Yeah. He didn't care about Kennedy, the news reporter. He cared
No.
about Kennedy.
Yes.
And
At the core, yes.
That's when you know. That's when you
Yes,
know.
when you know,
that
you know.
God just sent the right guy your
Yeah.
way. But that, like I said, that's just something hard and very powerful of you just talking about that, just because it's a hard season. Like I said, very hard season just to realize like you're not whole.
Right.
And you can't give your all to a specific person
Right.
that you really want to.
Yeah.
And so that's important for a lot of people to hear. And a good reminder too, like if you don't feel whole, don't go into it yet. Like they can wait.
Yeah, because I
They
knew
can
who I
wait.
was.
Yeah.
And I had always had that confidence in like just dating the right way and being wise and having discernment. But because of just the environment and the season I was in, I had to realize like there's different parts to being whole. There's different parts for it to be the right timing. And so I'm glad I kind of took my time with that.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I kind of do want to just kind of shift into how you are now a big advocate on mental health. And I know for you, you have a hard story.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a story of strength. And I very much commend you for just speaking about it, because I know a lot of people need to honestly just hear it. And I don't want to share it myself, because I want you to be able to share it. So go ahead and just speak a little bit about what you went through and how you became just an advocate for mental health.
For sure. I mean, it took me years to even say certain words or to even have the boldness enough to share my story. But I knew, and again, it took so many years, that there's power that comes from vulnerability and from just realness, because there's lives on the other side of our obedience. And again, for the longest time, I didn't think I really had a story to share. And I think those were lies from the enemy of just saying, don't share that story. Like, nobody's going to listen to you. But my story starts at a young age. I mean, I grew up in a Christian household, 2 amazing parents in Dallas, Texas, and was 5 years old, going into a New Year's Eve party with my family. My dad had stayed back for some reason, but I just remember shortly after midnight, my brother and I, 5 years old, twins, running into the house, excited to see our dad. And he was laying there on the ground. And it's something like a vivid picture that I had in my mind. Like, my mom did the very best she could to call 911, get us to the neighbor's house. But even as a 5-year-old, I remember that moment of just confusion. And I didn't process it for so many years, but had realized what had happened, but not exactly the extent to it. And so, it took me years and years to really process just losing a father, like your superhero. And it was years and years later when I realized exactly just the extent to what happened. And my mom treated it with grace and just understanding, like, because there's not really a perfect time to explain that to a child. And so when my mom did explain that to me, it was kind of like a second wave of, I think, emotions and grief to just understand why someone would do that. And I think for me, I had to just realize that like I had my family and we were strong through it all. But when someone does that, they're not themselves. And that's something that I kind of clung to. And so I think for me, I find it so impactful about why you have to speak, is because people are living in fear and shame. And like, I looked at my life, and from the outside, you would have thought it was a picture perfect environment, and my family was so close, and they were, but something deep in his mind convinced him that life was not worth living. And he had a wife who loved him and who he loved as well, and twin 5-year-olds who were his entire world. Like, we all were just such a strong, close-knit family. But again, this is why we have to talk about mental health. Because one lie from the enemy can convince somebody that that's not real. And it was real, but those lies can come so strong. And so ever since then, like, my family has just been everything to me. We have always just understood what it meant to not let our past dictate our future, and to just live a life honoring him. And it took me years to even speak about what happened, because it's something that was just, people could see as taboo, or just an unfamiliar territory to talk about. But I knew that it was time, after a while to really speak and just to bring awareness in any way that I can. And I want to do more, but even just being comfortable enough to just talk about his life and his legacy is important to me for sure.
No, I mean, thank you for just being vulnerable. And honestly, I did not lose a parent, but I lost a friend to suicide. And there's definitely a big stigma around it of just, it's really hard to talk about suicide. A lot of people are afraid just to even honestly say the word.
Yeah.
It's very much a touch and go kind of subject. And I think it's like you're saying, it's so important. And now's the time, especially in today's society where the world is kind of filtered. And all you see is the happy face. And all you see is like, oh, they're living their best lives, right? And you don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes. And you're right. It only takes one small moment of vulnerability with the enemy just to grab you and isolate you and tell you that, no, this is all wrong. And like you're at your deepest and your darkest moments. I've been there before as well. And it's just something that we need to talk about. It's hard. It's a hard conversation to have. And it's not one that you ever truly like. I commend your mom because wow, what strength she has. And she raised amazing children as well through all of it. And I can just see it through your strength. And so I can't imagine what strength your mama has. And for her to just even sit you guys down and kind of talk about it, that's not a conversation any parent wants to have with anyone. So I'm just so grateful that you were able just to like share that with us and being open and honest because it's real and it's happening every single day to people you don't expect it to happen to.
And it's just important to talk about it, just sparking conversation. And like you said, people don't even want to say the word, but it's real.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why living in community is so important, because when you think you can live life alone, that's when the enemy can get you in that quiet place. And the smallest voice can be so loud.
Oh, yeah.
When you're still and then you're quiet and you think, I don't need people. But we do. Like, we're not meant to live life alone.
Yeah.
So even, again, back to my Oregon chapter and not being able to find my community, I made it a priority to get to know others, whether it's FaceTime calls or taking a walk. Like, in every chapter I've been in, I just told myself I'm not going to do life alone because that's not how it's meant to be.
Yeah, no, that's so powerful. So powerful. It's such a small thing to think about and be like, yeah, I have friends. Like, I have people, but like, do you have someone that's like in your corner? Like, do you have someone that will be there in your darkest times? And it's just so important to have.
And to ask the real questions.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing to ask, how are you? And stop there. But it's time for us to get deeper and not just stop there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, we have to ask the real questions, especially if you call that your friend or your best friend. Like, and it's uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to like ask your friend what they're going through, but it's the only way we're going to get people to be like vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there's help out there. Like, the help is out there, but it can be such an isolating situation to be in.
Yeah,
for sure.
I saw a video. It is all about asking questions and like the importance of how you word your questions. And a lot of us are like, hey, are you good? And that's such a normal question now. And everyone's response, yeah, everything's great. I'm blessed. I'm grateful for what I'm doing. But she kind of put it in the best way possible. She's like, okay, you got to change it up so you can kind of get down to the root of everything. And I don't specifically remember how she questioned it, but she was talking to her daughter. She's like, I had to change it up because she kept on saying the same thing over and over again. And so she was just asking her daughter, like, okay, what was the best thing about today? And she got more out of that. And And then you just kind of have to go from there. I mean, like, okay, what kind of thoughts did you have today? Are you feeling okay today? Are you feeling good? Or are you feeling a little bit more on the tired side? And I know that seems like such a childish way to put things, but sometimes we have to break it down so people are like, okay, this person actually wants to know. Like, they don't want my cookie cutter answer.
For sure.
They want to know how I'm actually feeling. And that's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think that's really what sparked my passion for the storytelling and getting into broadcasting, because I realized after what I had been through, like every single person walking down the street has a story, and you just don't know what that could even be, but you're not going to know unless you ask questions, and not just the cookie cutter questions, but the real questions. And that's something that will always be super special to me. It's just all of the people I was able to just sit down with, just like we are right now. But I think it's so important. I like what you said about that. It's just getting real. With everybody.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Sit down. Let's have some real talk, sister.
Yes.
Like, definitely, 100%. And I definitely think that's just how God created us to be. Like, he did not create man alone. He created Adam, and then he created Eve. Like, he knew that we could not live alone by ourselves. Like, we needed that community, and that's what he wants. And I think we just have to honestly understand that. And I know that you're very big on your faith, and it's super, super important for you. And kind of for you, just going through the ups and downs of a lot of different things and going in and out of different seasons. I wanted to know from your perspective, it's so easy to praise God when you know exactly what he's doing. But in those times of like pivoting and transitioning and things happening in your life that you just never would expect that would happen to you, how do you put God in just like such a way of saying like, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to trust you? What's that process like for you?
Yeah, I think I've had to really understand what it means to not just trust God 50% or 75%, but 100% of my time. For sure, I just always think back to like the low times and the high times, and I never want to like forget about where I've came from, and also what God's bringing me through, and knowing like the root of that, like God's provision, God's protection, like has carried me through every single season. And I always think back to like why it's so important for me to like know scripture and to study scripture, to be able to pull those affirmations and reminders in those times, because that's when you are going to need it, to just remind yourself of who you are and what God has done. And just, I think, to kind of get back to your question, just the promises that like are right there in the word, of just knowing like God will provide, he will take care of you, like he meets every need. I think that's something that I've really just had that trust of, it's going to be okay. And it was like just going from where I was to now, like working for the Cowboys, and just a dream opportunity and role in a job that like I have peace at.
Yeah.
And I don't have to feel anxious walking into work. Like, it's just a beautiful reminder of God's favor and provision and protection. So I think just reminding myself of just, he's got you in every step. Like, he's already paved the way.
Yeah.
And you just have to walk in obedience, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're doing something. Something's happening. Something's happening. And you just not too long ago started with the Cowboys, like you said, and now you're here and you're loving it, right? Hopefully.
So much.
Loving it. And I stalked you, okay? And a long time ago, I don't know what company that you're working for, but you were in front of the star and you posted this picture. And this is before you even worked there. And so I was like, did you ever expect?
You did some digging. That was like 2017.
Yes, it was far down there.
So, I love that. Almost forgot about that. So I was in an internship for like an editorial sneaker magazine in Dallas. And one of my assignments as a little intern, it was like a summer during college, was to go to the Star for what's called the Nike opening. It was just this something for athletes going into something like that. And I went to the Star, which I'm from Grapevine, so I knew about the Star, but like took that picture not thinking anything of it. And it was just such a cool experience, just getting kind of the tour of the Star and learning the ropes of kind of writing and editing and a little bit of reporting. And so, yes, took that picture in front of the Star and would have never thought that that would be kind of my second home one day, somewhere I spend every single day. Literally every single day.
Taking pictures.
Taking pictures. I'm sure I have pictures in that exact same spot, but like what a full circle moment.
Truly.
I had no idea that was before my news chapter. But that is like just such a reminder of like, you just never know where God's going to take you, honestly.
It's so funny. Sometimes I like to view it in a way of like, God's just up there and he's like, you don't even know what I'm going to do.
Yes, I think about that all the time.
All the time. Yes. He's like, just wait. A few days later, you're going to be working there, actually.
And I was like, but God, the middle part, what happened in the middle? What was all that about?
He's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So
You're an investigator. I really am.
I really am. I love to investigate.
I have like 900 Instagram photos too. You did your homework.
I really did my homework. When I said I stalked you, I really did.
I love that.
And that's how I found out we were twins.
Yes, we're twins.
We are twins. Everyone's like, all you said is that you guys are both newlyweds. Well, let me tell you.
This way.
Katie and both of our husbands call us that. Both of them. KD. And she went to Baylor, I went to TCU, so little rivalry there.
Still love you.
But it's okay, I still love you too. It's fine. You were in cheer, right? As well? Come on, guys. I mean, she was in cheer. She has a twin. I was a twin.
That part.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It is.
I'm just saying. Okay, but I'm a theater nerd, okay?
Okay.
And in theater, we had this game. It was called Hot Seat.
Okay.
And basically what you do is you sit down in a chair and then the teacher just puts on a little timer and people just throw questions at you. Okay. And they can ask whatever.
I thought you were going to have me improv and I kind of like sank.
Okay. I mean, you can improv
No,
too.
We're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you questions about yourself really fast. Like up you. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
On the twin thing. Is twin telepathy real? Is that a thing?
I wouldn't say so.
No,
like we feel the emotion, but not like if he gets hurt. I don't feel that. People really think like I feel physical pain if he gets hurt. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Ah, man, I was really hoping
Maybe
it was a thing.
Maybe I should have said yes.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay. I just needed to know. At least you're real about it.
Real.
You're real about it. Keep it real all the time. Okay, so I see all the things about you being like the best aunt in the world. Do you have a favorite niece or nephew?
No. They're so young and would not see this for many years, but I don't. I love them so much. I was with them last night.
They're also so chilling. Cute.
They are. I love them. They're my world.
Dude, they're so
It's
cute.
The best life.
Oh my goodness.
It's the best life.
I love looking at pictures of them. It's just so adorable. Okay. Best and worst stadium food that you had to work with.
Stadium food?
Yes, because you do content all the time.
Oh my goodness.
I see them.
The best is what is it? I'm like forgetting. It's like this Cowboys mac and cheese and it's so good. And I eat it every time.
What's in it?
Oh my God.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
You're like mac and cheese.
I should know this stuff.
No, it's okay. It's okay. What's the worst?
I love all stadium food.
I bet you do. I bet you do. It's all good at AT&T Stadium. Everything's good. Okay, so I saw that you love vision boards. Okay. I do. What does your vision board look like this year?
Okay, it's a mixture of like health, wellness, quiet time with the Lord, travel. Mm-hmm. That's big on there. I want to do more traveling.
Okay.
And just like continued peace. I just have a lot of like, just peace overall. But mainly like health, wellness, want to keep playing tennis.
Good things.
And travel with my husband. That's kind of the main parts.
I love a good travel. We love a good travel.
Sure.
What's the number one spot you want to go to?
Number one spot? Ooh, Europe. I want to do like a Europe vacation trip anywhere. Like take me anywhere.
Girl, me too.
Yeah.
We'll catch a flight together. We'll
Right,
catch a
right.
flight together. Okay, so you and your husband met at a game night.
We did.
Okay, so how competitive are y'all? And you
So
guys still
competitive.
have game nights to this day?
Yes, we play one-on-one Uno like every other night. Like
Stop.
like we have game nights with friends. Like we have a lot of couples friends, but we will play Uno just like across from each other all the time. And we are competitive. We have bets, we have wagers, everything.
I love that you guys met at a game night. Then that's
We
like
did.
perfect.
It's fitting.
Did you guys have games at your wedding?
Games at our wedding? No.
That would have been
That would
really
have been
cute
kind of, like,
though.
full circle.
It's okay. We can do anniversary. Like
Yes.
anniversary
And
then
it's coming up
5.
next month. April
Oh my
28th.
goodness.
I know,
Wait,
1
happy
year.
early.
Thank you.
Yay, we love love here. We love love. Also, let me tell you guys, they planned a wedding in like 4 months.
You did your homework. Yes,
yes.
4 months.
I planned mine in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was stressed out.
Oh, I bet.
Stressed
But in a
out.
short engagement, like you just have to make decisions.
Just make it
quick.
work.
And it happened.
And there wasn't a moment where you're like, this is not going to happen.
No. And it was our wedding of our dreams. And it was great.
It was beautiful,
Thank
first of
you.
all. She was
Thank you.
stunning. If you need to go to her Instagram, look it all up. It was stunning. No one would have guessed that was a
Right.
4-month kind of thing.
Shout out to my mom because that was her 9 to 5.
Shout out
Before
mamas. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, that was also my mom's.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to be your wedding planner anymore. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You still got
All
a year
love.
left.
All love at the end of the day.
Literally all love, all love. But I also, last one, I promise. So on your Instagram, you have a highlight of word.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that big part of your life,
Yeah.
I bet just because it's on your highlights.
Right.
What's your favorite word?
My favorite word. This is a hot seat question. I would say my favorite word. I love the word purpose.
That's
There's just so many levels to it, but I love that word.
That's a good.
love that
That's a
for me.
good one. That's a good one. Well, that's our hot seat question. You're done. You can take her. But just to end out the episode, what I do to incorporate my love for affirmations is asking each guest what their favorite affirmation is. So, do you have a favorite affirmation or scripture?
I do. I mean, starting with the affirmation, it's something that I would say I just remind myself all the time. It's just simply God's plan is always greater.
Yeah.
It's always better. It's something I had to really cling to in those tough seasons. And that kind of leads me to my favorite Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. And that verse has been with me in every step of my life. And I had to really trust that. And it's so much easier said than done. But it's so true.
Yeah.
Because like you talked about God looking down at us, like you have no idea just
no clue.
the big, beautiful world that's out there for you. And it was hard to picture what life could be like. And I just couldn't picture being in a role that I just felt peace at. And now I'm there just loving. I look forward to going to work every day. And so I would say that verse has been super close to my heart.
So good. So good. I can just see just God reflecting through you and just like you radiate his light and his joy. And I mean, you're amazing in every single way, which kind of goes to my last and next thing is that I have this word for you. And I just said it actually. And it's radiant.
Thank you.
And I just believe from the start of just like looking at your social media and always seeing you, like you just have such a joy about you and such a light about you. And I was like, radiant is just like a word that she has to always remember. And so I wanted to give this to you just on your darkest days and when we feel like we're out of control. This is just like a simple reminder that like God's light is always with you and shining through you. And even the darkest times, like his light can break through. So here you
so much to me. Thank you.
Oh, of course. And there's a football on it too, you know, hashtag Cowboys.
So perfect. Thank you.
But no, thank you so much for coming on today. I mean, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. But it has been such a pleasure. And just thank you so much for sharing your heart. And thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's been a blast. But as always, I love you, God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. See you next time.